everybody, from my 2014 Mercedes-Benz GLK250 Bluetec with 153,717 miles on it. I wanted to give an update about my experience with this high mile car so far. When I first bought it, it had 144,313 miles on it. So I've now put about 9,400 miles on it. And so the short version is I've had absolutely no issues with it. But there's a little caveat to that statement. I've made some other videos about this, but I'll just go ahead and summarize. I was hearing a clunk from the front end going over big bumps at low speeds, and so I got under there to poke around and see if I saw anything loose, and everything was tight in the suspension. And it had just passed an inspection where they checked that stuff out very thoroughly, and it passed with flying colors. So in my poking around, I discovered that I could shake the driver's side CV axle up and down. And then I eventually learned that the issue resides with the intermediate shaft bearing. It fits through the oil pan, and something happens in there. I don't know, something breaks off in the oil pan or whatever, but it allows it to have some play where the bearing rests. Now, I never had any symptoms with that. Driving was fine, no vibrations, no noises. So I had decided just to do an experiment and keep driving it. That's been several thousand miles ago, and I'm guessing actually the car has probably had that issue for a long time, and it's just never really manifested as an actual problem. Now, that being said, just for fun, I've tried different solutions to try to hold that in place a little better with varying results. But ultimately, and I'm going to do a video on this the next time I get under there, probably like when I change the oil. I found that if I get a really extra long zip tie and tie it to the, I'm guessing it's an oil cooler line right by the pan, and then stick the end of that in between the oil pan and the bearing, that's actually been holding. It has significantly reduced the amount of play. The axle doesn't really move anymore. I did a video about when I tried that with without tying it to the oil line and with a shorter zip tie. That solution did not work, but this one did. So you can look back through my videos if you're interested in that. But I will say, yeah, other than that, it's been flawless. Now, I did recently notice something, which I'm not sure yet if it's an issue. I have noticed, and this may just be with the cold weather, I'm not sure, it may be just normal, but I've noticed the coolant level is ever so slightly dropping. I recently changed the coolant, and when I say recently, I actually mean a few thousand miles ago. It was one of the things I did shortly after I bought the car, that and the transmission oil, because it was due. So I ended up, it had to bleed all the air out and whatever, and maybe it's just that it took a little bit of time to get all the air out of the system, and it just had to burp again. I ended up adding about another cup of, I had to just plain water at that point to get it topped up. So I'm going to keep my eye on that, and see what happens. And I do know that the water pump on these is a failure point. I don't know typically what mileage they last to, but that is something that I plan on having to do. And from what I've seen on YouTube, it looks like that's not a huge job. It looks like there's actually two different ways you can do it. I think when you buy the water pump from the Mercedes dealer, it comes attached to the whole housing and everything, and you have to remove some more pipes and whatnot. And it's a pretty involved job, but it looks like you can also buy aftermarket, just the water pump itself, and replace that, and it's significantly easier to do and faster. My rough estimate is that I can probably replace the water pump in the time that it would actually take me to drive to the dealer and back. Because the dealer I use is a bit over an hour away. I think I can do the whole job in a couple hours. I would probably go ahead and replace the coolant again rather than trying to reuse the coolant, just for good measure, because I don't think I got all of it out of there, because I didn't like drain the engine block and stuff like that. I just drained it out of the radiator and poured a couple bottles of water down in there when I changed it. But yeah, and you know, other than that, it leaks surprisingly little oil. It's just recently started hitting the belly pan, so I may have the dealer look at that, because due to the emissions warranty, there's a lot of stuff that's covered by that warranty. Things you wouldn't think of, actually, like for example the turbocharger. I believe the charge air cooler hoses are covered, the intake manifold is covered. So I can have them take a look at that. I'm gonna wait till towards the end of the warranty, which expires at about 157,000 or 167,000 miles, and just see if I can't get any of that replaced under warranty. If it is a problem, of course. So the car has had a few issues before I got it that the prior owners took care of. It did have a failure of the charge air cooler hoses, and it had a failure of a DEF level sensor, and they had to replace the whole DEF tank. That is something, oddly enough, that is not covered by the AEM warranty, which you would think it would be. I have heard of some people have been able to get that taken care of with the warranty. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and pass this guy here. We've got some construction. Now it says left lane closed. So, safely get over. I'm surprised that this truck here is still staying in the left lane. He's been like kind of in a hurry, but now he's slowing down. We'll let him stay up there. So anyway, and yeah, the DEF injector was replaced before I got the car, and that actually was covered under the AEM warranty. So if you have one of these, look up what's covered under the warranty. You might be surprised at the thoroughness of the warranty. I mean, I think it covers things like the cylinder head and just a bunch of stuff. Fuel injectors. It's a huge list. I may have done a video about it. I can't remember. Might have to look back through and see if I've done a video about that. But now is the perfect time to buy one of these because so much stuff is covered under warranty. Now, I don't know if you can still get the AEM done. I think it stands for emissions warranty. I don't know, something like that. And have a 4-year, 48,000 mile warranty on a bunch of different components. Or if you buy one that's had it done in the past couple years, as long as the prior owner hasn't driven it more than 48,000 miles, you're getting a car with a significant warranty. And this car, along with many others from this era, are also covered by the 20-year unlimited mile warranty on the rear subframe. Now, I've done some inspecting of the rear subframe on this car and found that it's rusty, but I'm not sure if it's quite to the point that would be covered by the warranty replacement. So holding off on that. I want to try to make this one last as long as possible, because I'm sure the new one would have the same issues, and hence, if I can make this one last 12 or 13 years, then I know I'll be good for another 12 or 13 years after that. Now, in all my history of owning cars, I've never kept a car that long. My plan is to keep this one forever. I like it that much. I actually owned 2 of these brand new. I had a 13 and a 14, but I never kept them that long. Something came up where I either traded it or wanted to sell it, and I still to this day haven't figured out why I never kept one of the ones I bought brand new, because of how much I liked it. But there was always some reason. Just don't remember what it is. But this time around, I'm going to keep it. I traded my Hyundai Elantra N in on this car, which I'm very famous for very odd trades, because those 2 cars, the Elantra N and this, couldn't be any more different, really. I've been known to trade new Mercedes Benzes in on Honda Civics, and trade way up or way down. I just love cars. I really don't care, old, new, whatever. You know, every car has something interesting. I mean, I have some that are more my favorites than others, of course, but one of my goals is to experience as many cars as I can, at least the cars that really hold my interest. There's a few cars on my bucket list that I want to get. Nothing really exotic. I do like the Ferrari FF and the GTC4 Lusso, but I don't know if I would actually want to own one, and I think that's largely because of the attention it would get. If you've seen some of my other videos, you've seen I owned a G63, and everywhere I went, that thing was just an attention magnet. I never had any problems, but it was rather invasive. So I would tend to rather drive something that's a little more subdued and gets less attention. Like, you know, for example, my GR Corolla, to the average person, it's just a Corolla, and nobody pays it any mind. I think if I were to ever get attention, I've had that for a month, and I've never gotten a second glance from anybody. I think if I were to get any attention on that, it would be from a car enthusiast, which would be definitely a welcome. This car, of course, I don't think will ever get a second notice, particularly because when I bought it, it was debadged. I've been thinking about putting the Bluetec label back on, because that could get some interesting attention. But there's one fueling station that I stop at that has the diesel pumps separate. And, you know, historically in the past, when I've had diesel cars and I've used stations like that, I've had various reactions like, that's a diesel? to somebody literally running out of the store telling me, oh my God, you're putting diesel in it, you're gonna ruin it. And I'm like, no, it's a diesel. But with this one, more recently, haven't got a second glance from anybody doing that. So anyway, and I like it that way. I like to drive unique and unusual cars, but still blend in. Or if I'm gonna get attention, I like it in the form of a car that will just elicit positive attention. So anyway, well, that's my latest thoughts on this and other cars. So feel free to drop a comment and a like, and have a great day, everyone.